stream to let everyone know that I'm not streaming today. Uh, Due to some recent events, I'm finding it kind of hard to do my gaming. I got some issues with my left hand. I still have my mouse hand, but I have not yet gotten into the habit of playing games that only require one hand to play, if you know what I'm saying. And while I can somewhat use my keyboard to do a little bit of light gaming, it's not very comfortable, it's not very easy, and it's not worth it. So I won't be doing any game streams today. I might not be doing any game streams next weekend either. The odds are pretty good for like probably a good 2 weeks. I'm out of gaming. So far, it looks like my left hand still does all of the things that it's supposed to do. So once some time has passed and some healing happens, I don't think I'm going to have any issues going back to all of the things I've always done prior to my injury. So that's a good thing. That includes gaming and what have you. But for the short term, because of the situation at hand, I was thinking it might be kind of a cool thing to just get on here and let you guys know about that. Now, I might do some hanging out stream, maybe midweek or this next coming weekend, where I do less keyboard intensive activities on my streams, like maybe respawn to some videos or do like some reaction type drivel that everybody hates and there's way too many people doing already. Or I just sit here and watch stuff and react to it. I could maybe do something like that because that's less hand intensive. But yeah, I really can't. Going through life one handed after going through life with two hands is it's interesting. I mean, my fingers are all good, and like I didn't break my hand. It's more tissue damage, but it just really hurts, and I can't move it too much. Well, let me amend that statement. I'm not supposed to move it too much while it heals because I could do more tissue damage to it if I dick around with it and I don't take the time it needs to let it heal because it's pretty messed up. It's really messed up. But again, I have feeling everywhere. All my fingers work, and when I was at the hospital before they, put everything back together, they established that everything moves. So that's all great. It's just kind of the irritation of intentionally not using it for anything more than I absolutely have to. Like even gripping things with it is not advised. I'm not supposed to be using it for much of anything at all, at all. And all this happened Friday night. So Sunday tonight at midnight will be the first time I'm allowed to even get it wet and clean the affected areas and redress the bandaging. And so, yeah. And once all this is behind me, I'll probably do some social media posts and maybe even a stream addressing what happened and this, that, and the other. But I think that's all just fodder for some future topic. But anyways, as for today, I'm probably gonna just kind of veg out and watch some shows in my YouTube watch later list and just relax and try to recoup. I got this new job last week. I'm gonna have to go to work tomorrow and explain to my boss like how long my recovery is gonna take. And I just got this job. I can't afford not to work, so I'm gonna have to basically be working one-handed in a job that I guess technically there's a lot you can do one-handed, but I mean working one-handed is really shit for hard surface repair. We scrub bathtubs, we clean slash partially resurface glass range tops, we take scratches and rust out of stainless steel. We do Like if you set down a hot, scalding hot tea kettle on a laminate countertop and it leaves like a burn ring, we fix stuff like that and paint it to match. And a lot of this can be done somewhat one-handed, but it's not going to be as effective and quick one-handed. And so my boss is really going to love having a brand new employee that's literally working with one hand tied behind his back. I'm sure that's going to go over really well. But to be honest, I don't know. There's a lot of any jobs out there that you can ultimately do one-handed in reality. So it's just kind of one of those things. He seems like a cool dude. Maybe he'll be chill with it. And apparently, like right at the beginning of August, sometime I'm supposed to go up to Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, for like a 3-day training seminar on some of the more advanced color matching stuff for these countertops, because like you'll have like these mica patterns and it looks like rock or something, and then you're supposed to match the color of the damaged area to the existing area. So there's a little bit of art involved in this job I took, so to speak. And I think the training for that is going to be pretty merciful in the fact I only have one hand for like at least 2 weeks, but I probably won't be able to use my left hand to full effect for as many as 4 to 6 weeks, but I'll be able to use it again within about 3 to 4 weeks. Kind of normally. Like, like nothing's going to be like damaged if I use my hand in 3 to 4 weeks. There won't be no tearing stitches or anything by then, but I probably won't be like trying to get full dexterity back until about a month and a half from now. I may need some physical therapy. I'm definitely going to lose a lot of hand strength and grip strength, so that's going to be an ass ache to get back. But because all of this is looking pretty optimistic for, recovering the functionality of the hand, we're calling it a could be worse situation, and we're just going with that. So I'm choosing to kind of stay positive about it, despite the fact it hurts like hell and I can't use it for anything. And it's also kind of a bummer because that's my left hand is my backup lever. If my girlfriend and I get into a tiff, like I better not, because like I'm not gonna be able to do anything for myself with this. So we're gonna be real good boyfriend and girlfriend for quite a while, because it's not gonna be great if I don't. But yeah, so I don't know. Like again, I'm not in the practice of streaming games that you can play with one hand with a mouse, if you know what I mean. So if anybody has any suggestions for what I can play for video games that basically requires one left hand finger, I'd be interested to hear about it. Because I don't know how I can stream gaming when it my hand just generally hurts anyways. Again, I just hurt it Friday, and I do have finger mobility. I can use all my fingers, but like it hurts just to like it existing on the end of my arm hurts, and then like using it generally hurts. My index and my middle fingers are pretty good. My ring finger has like this kind of like nerve damage tingle. I still feel things with it, but I also like, as part of my injury, you can see there's a band-aid right there. Like the fingertip itself kind of got flayed a little bit, so it hurts to tap the A key, and I'm having trouble because of the crap that's on my hand, the brace and everything, using my pinky to manipulate things like shift and tab on the keyboard. So while I kind of can, like I have reduced sensation in my ring finger, and so like when I hold WAD, I can't really feel if I'm on Q or if I'm on tab or where I am with my ring finger, partially because the mild nerve tingling, and partially because I have a band-aid on that finger. And then again, I can feel with my pinky, right? Like I can, but my fingers are all lined up, so I can't splay out my pinky and actually activate the dexterity with it to get over and use shift, caps lock, tab, and all that. So I'm having a hell of a time playing a lot of the video games that I was thinking I was going to play some video games while I was in recovery, while I was waiting for this injury to kind of, but I'm starting to realize how crippled this makes me as a gamer to have this particular situation. Now I can take the brace off because again, nothing's broken. It's not like a broken bone issue. It's a tissue damage thing. But the doctor told me like by keeping the brace on, I'm keeping kind of like the stitches protected. Because if I articulate my wrist and my hand too much, there's the chance that I can reopen the wounds and cause the possibility of having to go back and get more stitches in, and also, getting if you open those back up, there could be some infection issues. So I'm kind of screwed on some. Basically, what I have is I can if I have these towels and I kind of set them here to kind of like rest my forearm on with my wrist brace on, and if I space my keyboard just right away from my hands, like I can kind of get over here and I can kind of WASD, but like again, like because I can't feel much with my ring finger, I have to visually verify or notice my screen behavior if I'm on A or not. And a lot of times I accidentally veer over to caps lock and I'm like, why am I not strafing left? And then I'm like, oh, right. And meanwhile, while this is going on, my pinky's just kind of just up in the air. Like, let me see if I can give you a picture of like what this has been like for me for like the last 24 hours trying to do any gaming. Like, here, I'll just take my camera and see how the pinky's just kind of like, my pinky's just out. So, like, I can't really splay my pinky over there, partially because of the brace, but my body knows that my hand is jacked up. So even though like I do have hand strength, like right now, my body knows that my hand is messed up, and it does like I get like this weird feeling when I try to like grip anything really hard, and my body's like, I don't want to grip hard. Please don't do that. And so like when I try to use full finger dexterity and whatnot and move around too much, like because part of my injury is in the meat of the palm of my hand, my body doesn't want me to let my body doesn't want to let me do like certain stuff with my hand. Like it just like it seems to just inherently know like leave it alone. So like my pinky being out of the game partially because of the wrap, and partially because of the nature of like how my hand is stitched together right now. It's like I'm very crippled for a lot of like any first person gaming action is going to be kind of like difficult. I could experiment with some key rebinding, but a lot of games really require you to use like keys to the right of WASD for like specific things. Like E is like interact with a lot of games. R is reload. So if I was to like move things to like C or F or V or G or B for like shift and tab and game functions, like I don't know that I could get used to it. And it's like I'm basically just working with like my index and my middle finger and my left hand and sometimes my thumb, which I actually have to like to use to articulate the space bar is actually really aggravating. Like I can do it, it doesn't hurt or anything, and I don't think it interferes in my injury at all. It's just like the way that the and if I have tried gaming with my brace off, which I have to take my brace off to apply ice every now and then, 20 minutes on, 20 minutes off, and ice it down to keep the swelling down. Um, Playing with my brace off, even if I have the towels in the right place, makes my wrist bend a little bit, which puts some strain on one of the areas that is stitched up, and it just doesn't feel great. And again, my doctor tells me that like anything that causes further discomfort is probably a sign that I'm doing something stupid that I should not. So we're going to behave ourselves and not cause ourselves either more injury, worsening of existing injuries, or slow down my recovery time, because the faster I heal and get past this, the happier I'm going to be. So yeah, for those who do like follow me, all like none of you, like if you have recommendations for content that I can create in the meantime that doesn't require me to play like keyboard command intense gaming titles or like something that like I'm allowed to do on Twitch. Like I don't know what the rules are to reacting to content. Like if I'm allowed to watch TV shows and react to those, if they'll consider that copyright like YouTube stupid asses do. Um I don't know like what if you guys can recommend anything I can do with my streaming block on Sunday to where I can entertain you guys while being basically one-handed. I would really appreciate the advice because it doesn't look like I'm going to be enjoying too much gaming. Tablet gaming's a little easier, but I don't know how to stream my tablet games on Twitch while being on camera at the same time. And maybe I'm ugly enough you guys wouldn't mind if you can't see my face while I'm game streaming. Maybe I'm just like hideous enough to where like, oh my god, well actually I would love to like watch you live stream on Twitch on your tablet games because then I don't have to see your ugly face and I'd be like, okay. Well, that actually just makes my life easier because then I wouldn't have to figure that out with the camera, and I could just because like technically speaking, if you think about it, when you're on a tablet, like you're only using these two fingers anyways, and those two work really good right now. And again, all the other fingers work as well, but unless I take off my brace and do things that don't feel good, I really can't do much more than that. So unfortunately, due to this sudden series of events that has put me in this position, which I do not want to go into right now. I will tell all later when I'm, recovered, because I want to have, some before and after pictures and make up a slideshow. And I really want to go from like the beginning to the end and go through the whole thing and make a story time out of it. And there's some really important lessons to be learned based upon what happened to cause all this that I think is important to share with anybody who will listen. But we all know nobody basically watches me anyways. But it's important stuff. It's good stuff, and I think it'd make a great story for a teachable moment for me, a chance for wise people to learn from a fool's mistake. Me being the fool in this situation, and it should be entertaining as well. And during me telling this story, when it comes time for that, a lot of people are going to mock and ridicule me. And I honestly kind of encourage them to because, like, this was all 100% preventable from the start to the finish. And while there were multiple parties involved, like, at the end of the day, like, me, being a Spurger King and being kind of like a perfectionist and always being hard on myself and being driven, I'll always take full responsibility, even if I don't actually hold full responsibility. I think in this case, I kind of did anyway, but we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. You can expect to see that in about a month or two when I can use my hand again. We'll tell the whole story, and then that'll also at that point allow me to give you way more information because even now, like after everything that happened, I can tell you what happened, but I can't tell you the outcome yet because I don't know the outcome yet. I actually haven't been to see the hand surgeon yet, and that's another thing I have to do here directly within a week of last Friday, just so that he can get in there and take a look around and see if there will be any permanent impact on my, ability to do stuff and things with the hand. I'm not anticipating it though. The doctor in the emergency room is like, holy cow, everything still works. That's actually great. It's great. Could be a lot worse. I mean, it's really bad. It's really, 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 really bad, but it could be worse. So I'm the luckiest idiot alive. Anyways, honestly, I would like to hang out more, but I don't think anybody has any remote interest in listening to me talk and just staring at my ugly face while I do absolutely nothing on my computer. That would seem to be the most boring like stream possible. And again, I just don't know what the rules are, and I don't want to get the pink pussy hats working at Twitch all mad at me because I put on a movie and we watch a movie together, and then they get all mad at me for that. I just don't think that would be good form on my part. So until I don't know, during the week, I'll look up some of the rules on Twitch for content creation and see what I'm allowed to do. And if I'm allowed to watch shows and movies or go through my watch later playlist on YouTube and just watch some fun videos and stuff and react to those and interact with those and watch those together, and I ascertain that's okay, and find out like how much screen percentage that's allowed to take up on your stream. Like, oh, like you can only use like a quarter of the screen for what you're reacting to, or something like that. I'll find all those rules out, and if I'm allowed to do that, then maybe midweek and at the end of the week on the weekend, since I'm basically gimp and can't do a whole lot, we'll do some kind of stream where we do like some watch parties or something, because just really hurts the game right now, which really sucks, because this is a great opportunity. Like, nobody expects much out of me. Like, I can convalesce. I need to get my rest. So like you'd think, okay, well, it's time to catch up on some gaming, but hurts the game. So yeah. So I'm really sorry for all none of you who actually give a crap about whether I live or die, that I'm not here to entertain you. Like I want to be. Like I wish it could be different, but some stupid stuff happened Friday night, and here we are, and it's gonna be okay. But just as for today, I'm just not very entertaining, and I apologize for that. So with that, I'm gonna wish you all an amazing end of your weekend. I hope your work week doesn't suck. I'm going to be back definitely this weekend coming up, and possibly midweek. We'll see. And I'll find something to share my time with you guys and hang out. And please, for the love of God, if you take nothing else away from this, always pay attention to everything you're doing. Never make any assumptions about anything when it comes to safety, and 1000% of the time, just be always paying attention to what you are physically doing, what's going on around you, and what the people around you are doing. Like, so many things that go terribly wrong, and you hear these tragic stories about somebody got hurt, somebody got killed, this, that, or the other happened. And this was not automotive related, but that too. When you're driving, just pay attention and encourage the people you know and care about to also always pay attention, and don't slack on being vigilant, because accidents, even though they're always called accidents, are usually like 100% avoidable. So let's be careful, let's be smart, let's be safe, and let's stay healthy so that we can enjoy our coomerism together and goon out and play video games and whatnot without any interruptions, because we were dumb enough to stop paying attention when it mattered. Take care, guys.